Action! Ladies and gentlemen, or mostly ladies, welcome to, this is my 7th class. Can you believe it? This is the 7th month in a row that we have gathered together to do this. So I'm super excited. That feels lucky and auspicious. This month, we will be covering herbal recipes for home health. So this is a collection of my tried and true, used a million times, I stand by them the mostest recipes that I've used successfully in my home and on other people, just for your common everyday woes, trials and tribulations, ailments, what have you. We're gonna just jump right in here. If you go into the classroom, you'll be able to see this a lot better. So this is mostly just a reference for you so that you can come find all of these easily. I still need to get Crystal into the classroom, apparently. 7 months later. We'll get there. Hang out after class and we'll get on my computer and make it happen. So this is here just to quickly show you all the things that we will be going through. Hopefully we get through them all today. Fire cider, cough syrup, throat coat tea, snot stopper tea, immune decoction, appetite stimulant, tummy tea, garlic foot soak, sinus rinse, and cold sore lip balm. So, hey Meg, welcome. You want a cup of tea?
Yes, that would be awesome.
Awesome. You're welcome. Everybody, this is Meg. Has everybody met Meg before?
All but yeah, I haven't met you yet, or you, but anyway, nice to meet
you. Okay, so who's you? Crystal? So this is Crystal. She's awesome. You might actually have kids in the same class. Do you have a 2nd grader or a 4th grader?
Nope, we're 3rd and 5th.
Oh, womp, womp. Herder Man Ranch, north of town, on the way to Dismal.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, I was like, Dismal North. Okay.
I'm directionally incompetent. So, and who was the other you had not met?
Yes.
Cornell, that's my husband. He's really cute.
Okay.
I like him a lot. All right. So everybody, welcome. No, don't worry about it. We're just getting started. So our class, actually, a lot of the materials that I have done, you can find in a classroom and a Google Classroom online. So if that's something that you're interested having access to, hook me up with your email after class, and I've got to get Crystal in too. So I'll figure out how to get you both on. What I showed was just this little index to the slideshow tonight, which you'll be able to find with a video recording of this and some handouts in the little classroom. So these are all the things we're covering tonight, and we're going to jump in with fire cider. Who has tried fire cider? Yes. Have you made it?
I have not. I would like, that's kind of my goals for this year. But
go for it. Let's do it. One of the very first herb classes I ever went to, like 15 years ago, was a how to make fire cider class, which was awesome because everyone's like shaving horseradish and the tears are just streaming down their face, and the onion and the garlic and the whole room smell very fragrant and wonderful. I wish that we could duplicate that tonight. Maybe we'll do that next week. I have some horseradish in the ground waiting.
Kelly has tons of horseradish.
And like other roots, I dig mine in the fall. When do you dig yours?
In a month with an R.
That's awesome. Okay. All right.
I like to do it in September or October. It depends on when it frosts, so I'm done with the other garden.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. You have to dig it up in the winter.
It has to be after the heat, like May, June, July. Have no art. It's hot.
Yeah,
that's not when you're supposed to pick it or dig it. So in all your other months, it's an art. It's cool.
Yeah. So this is totally in line with my.
About the root.
Yep. My understanding of roots that we use medicinally is that the best time to harvest them are after the first frost, as it's starting to get cold, because all of that energy of the plant is going into the root so that it'll overwinter. And so that's when it's at its most potent. Some people also say that it's a good time to harvest it right at the very, 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 very beginning of spring when everything is starting to just shift. But I always do it in the fall because I think that's when it's saved up the most of its goodness and is just at that point.
Sun,
Yeah,
spring, yeah.
exactly. Exactly. So fire cider is this all-around wonder tonic. There was a big hullabaloo back in like 2014-ish when a enterprising herbal company decided they were going to trademark it, and that lit the entire herbal world on fire. And there was a massive lawsuit and all sorts of uproar because this is the people's medicine. That's like trademarking ketchup. Like it was a huge row. They lost. They were not able to trademark it, so it's still the people's medicine. It has a lot of digestive qualities. It's extremely antimicrobial, and I like to use it as a tonic in the winter. Once you start to get all that sinusy crud, it's wonderful for clearing that up. My caveat to that is the very, very first time I was a young hippie with tiny children and I'd made my first batch of fire cider and I had gotten some sort of sinus crud and I was gonna take it and it was gonna be great. And I, poured myself a little shot glass full of this stuff and just knocked it back and then was immediately like, oh! And, it did. My eyes did burn and my nose did water and everything did clear nicely. But I was literally like standing over the toilet, like just, like spitting, feeling like I was going to vomit at any minute. So I personally don't recommend taking it straight like that. I think it's much better. Like my favorite way to do it actually is in a cup of hot water with some lemon and some honey. And then you put about a teaspoon to a tablespoon of the fire cider in it. And then it's something lovely that you can sip. Or to make it, it's pretty simple. You mince 2 parts onion, 2 parts garlic, 1 part horseradish, 2 parts ginger. You cover all of that with apple cider vinegar, raw preferably. Let it sit 4 to 6 weeks. Shake, 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 shake. Love it. Give it good juju, all that. And then when I strain it, that's when I add the honey to taste. Some people add it while it's macerating, the fancy word for soaking, but I like to do it afterwards.
So is it fermented?
I mean, not really, because no, it's more like it's a vinegar infusion. Yeah, very, very fun. There was one year I made some and sold some out of the shop, and it sold like hotcakes. Maybe someday again. Yeah, it was fun a lot. You know what's another great use for it is like a salad dressing. It's very delicious and can be incorporated into all sorts of dishes. It's potent and pungent. So if you haven't tried it, you should try it. We should make it. That might be fun. Once we get into those R months and we can we can harvest the horseradish. We'll be good to go. Okay, so I'm going to actually demonstrate this one. This is a cough syrup. I have made this before and sold this before. It sold like hotcakes. I had people coming back for more, wanting more, but as always, it's really hard for me to keep up making all the things. The last time I got a cough, I made something very, very similar to this and was extremely pleased with it. So this is fun to talk about too, because it kind of gives you a sense of how we put formulas together. The nice things about mixing and matching herbs is that you can pull in they do a lot of different things, right? And you don't want just the one size fits all formula, right? You want to harvest each plant has constituents and properties that when combined give this broad work in a broader way. For example, when we look at this, we've got hyssop, horehound, orange peel, anise seed, and then down here we have wild cherry bark, angelica root, pleurisy root, and lobelia. A lot of those herbs have expectorant properties that help you do that more effectively. A lot of those herbs have aromatic properties that open up your lungs. Some of them are relaxant, so they like get rid of that tight tension in your chest. Some of them actually suppress the urge to cough. So when you take that all together, it's more useful than just say, oh, horehound is for cough. That people commonly have turned to horehound for cough. In fact, for hundreds of years, they made these little like horehound candies that were sort of they're the original cough drops. I found some at Hobby Lobby once, and they were gross. So, but
I think they have them at like Bongards and stuff.
that wouldn't surprise me at all.
They do still have them at Hobby Lobby in the white paper.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah,
That's old.
yeah. Get lemon drops.
I grew it once. It was a long time ago, and I really don't remember anything about it. But I did one time. I grew it in the sandhills, so it can be done for those of you who like to grow things. I'm going to pass this around. It'll give you a chance to actually look at horehound. Horehound is ridiculously bitter and terribly cold. So that's another thing I like about this particular formula is that it balances some cold herbs with some warming herbs. And so, for a general formula, it's not going to lean too far one way or the other.
Patty says it smells like horse feed.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. It's actually pretty gross. And so that's another reason to make this as a syrup, because chances are you're not going to drink a cup of horehound tea. No matter how good it would be for your cough, you're probably not going to be able to swallow that. And so syrups to the rescue. Hyssop is similar. It's also expectorating. It's antispasmodic. It has some antimicrobial properties, but don't think that it's going to like go out and seek and destroy the viruses systemically in your system. It really doesn't work like that. It's more that it's antispasmodic and expectorating properties that help get the cough to be more productive.
That blown in
Oh,
insulation.
It's a very fluffy herb.
Yeah, that's what
So when you're dealing with a cough, you want to assess whether it's a dry cough, whether it's a wet, goopy cough, whether it's one of those you've been coughing and coughing and coughing and now everything is worn out and the tissues are tired and it's no longer productive. So depending on those things, you're going to treat it a little bit differently. But one of the things that's sort of universal is that no matter what, you want to make sure that your mucous membranes are healthy. And that, a lot of times what happens with a really irritating cough is that those mucous membranes get like slack, and they need to be tightened a little bit, but at the same time, you really want them to be functioning. You really want just the right viscosity of mucus that is flowing. And because that mucus is very antimicrobial and very protectant. And so one of the things I like to add in a cough formula is orange peel, because orange peel will thin out really goopy, yucky, dried out, nasty mucus. So what I've done with this now, in previous classes, we have covered how to make a syrup, how to make a tincture, how to make a tea, how to make a salve. And so this class, we're kind of going to glaze over all of those things, but there's handouts back in the classroom if you want refreshers on any of those. What I did today was I took this quarter cup of hyssop, a quarter cup of horehound, a quarter cup of orange peel, and a quarter cup of aniseed, and 3 cups of water. And I turned it on. Where's my strainer? I turned it on the stove. Sorry, kids, hold on. I turned it, put all the stuff in a pot, put cold water, 3 cups of cold water on top of that, and then let it come to a boil. At that point, I reduced it and I let it simmer for about 15 minutes. The idea was I wanted it to reduce enough to get me about a cup. The aniseed in this, we were talking about healthy mucus. Can you see how thick this is? It's really thick and demulcent. The reason is because of this aniseed in here. Aniseed has wonderful antitussive qualities, which means it will stop your cough. It calms your cough. It's also antispasmodic. And when you let it steep for a long time, it gives off all these mucilaginous compounds that will coat and soothe those tired mucous membranes. So it is a tried and true, long time used traditional cough remedy that happens to taste absolutely wonderful. Interestingly, a lot of these herbs in this formula act similarly in the lungs as they do in your digestive system. That may be because the tissues are similar. I'm not sure about that. I think of your stomach as like smooth muscle tissue, and I'm wondering how much smooth muscle tissue is in your lungs. Perhaps quite a bit, so they work similarly. But so aniseed, orange peel, hyssop, the angelica, all of those are considered carminatives too, which means they bring blood flow to the digestive system and are antispasmodic in the digestive system. So I find that interesting that they're similar here. So I've pressed all that out. Let's measure just to be safe. I'm guessing we have about a cup. Boop, boop, boop. Well, maybe we have closer to 2. That's okay. Cup and a half? Are we going to call it a cup and a half? That's good. We're going to call it a cup and a half. Boop. And we're going to turn on our little burner here. All right. Now we're going to add an equal part of honey. I said reduce to a cup, but I meant cup and a half. I'll fix that. Sorry, kids. The idea is syrups that are made with a 1-to-1 ratio, 1 part concentrate and 1 part honey, will keep in your fridge for about a month. If you were to use twice as much honey as concentrate, it would keep in your fridge for up to 6 months.
Where do you get your honey?
Walmart.
Okay. Didn't know if there was a local source around here.
Mackey's did have.
Chandler's.
yes, the Chandler's, that's what we
And it was a good price.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, this
It
was.
plastic jar.
Yeah. Mm. Mm. I'm gonna make you guys taste this syrup, so get ready. It's gonna be great. We can put it in our tea too.
Yours is really tight.
Oh, you gotta work. I'm getting my workout in. This is maybe the only Pampered Chef thing I have, but I really love it. All right.
A lot of the stickiness. The oily mess. Or the peanut buttery mess.
All the messes.
All the messes.
Oh, look, there's a paper towel right here. Yay. All right, let's talk about some of these other herbs that I'm going to throw in here. I am going to use lobelia. I don't know, was anyone here the last time I told my story about lobelia? The first time I really got to know lobelia, and it's nicknamed pukeweed. It does have emetic. I never say that word right. Who's my Cindy? Tell me, how do you say it? Emetic? Emetic?
Because antiemetic is.
Okay, I never say that word right. It has some emetic properties in large quantities. So you have to take quite a bit to get yourself to actually throw up. What it's absolutely renowned for is being a very potent and powerful relaxant. And it has a very special affinity towards the tissues in your lungs, your bronchioles and your I can never say that word either. Alveoli, no, ravioli.
Alveoli.
I just read these things. I don't actually
It's
say
like
them out
Alvin.
loud.
It's like Alvin.
Yeah, those guys.
Alvin.
All those little air sacs. It just helps them relax and open right up. This is a quintessential herb often used in formulas for asthma. It is really wonderful. Its ability to relax your entire system is pretty profound, and it's perfect. It is perfect for a cough. That horrible cough that you just can't quite get your breath, and it feels tight and miserable. This will take that tension out of your chest. But if you take too much of it, you might puke. It's self-limiting and horribly bitter.
You'd be so relaxed, but you'll be puking.
Terribly disgusting. It's what we call a low dose botanical. So don't take too much. Bitter and foul. Absolutely bitter.
Brandy. There you made it too.
Yes, this one says brandy. I made this back in 2017. Wow. And yeah, wow. That's right. Time flies. That's crazy. All right, come on. I was going to put about a tablespoon of all of these in here. Again, this is not something that you can take it as a tincture, but it's pretty gross. It's much better with honey. Much, much better with honey. This one is Angelica. Angelica has a wonderful, spicy, I like it. Also has a bitter note to it. It's an emmenagogue, which means it will bring on your menses and make your menses heavier. We're putting about a tablespoon in. I'm putting all that in there. There we go. It's antispasmodic, which is lovely in a cough formula. And it's the warmingness of it I find very soothing. And then we're going to add Asclepias tuberosa, aka pleurisy root, which has this lovely diffusive action. And so diffusives tend to bring blood flow from deep inside your body out into the periphery. It also has a relaxant effect on the lungs. Was awesome during COVID for that COVID cough. People were turning to it and using it very successfully throughout COVID. So this is a pretty great cough syrup formula. And now we should have 2 cups of it. I don't even think we need any more heat. I'm going to shut the heat off. Now, the first time I made this, I made it with this plant here, Grindelia. I don't remember that's the first, okay. Its common name is curly gumweed, and it's awesome. Its Latin name is Grindelia something or another. I don't remember what the something or another is, in all fairness. It does grow around here. I harvested this in Brady. I have never seen it in Mullen. Okay, one time I saw it in one place by the side of the road, one plant, and it was completely surrounded by, I call it camphor weed. Do you know what the real name? The one that looks a lot like it and smells similar,
Yeah.
but is poisonous.
Sneezeweed.
What did you call it? Teaseweed?
Sneezeweed.
Sneezeweed.
Which there's lots of plants called that, but
Okay, so you have to be careful.
It looks a lot like things.
Yes. The one plant I'm thinking of here locally, because my favorite place to walk is up what the kids and I called Peggy's Road, but it's whatever the road is where the drop off is, up where Lynn and Brian's house is. It used to be Peggy's house. That, like, if you go north on 97 and you turn left, like, go over the auto gate kind of thing, and there's just tons and tons and tons of a lookalike. Don't harvest that one. This one, I don't know. Can you see? I don't know if I can make it bigger. No, that's not what I want. Can I make it small? All right, sweet. Let's see if I can blow this up real big. Okay. Maybe I can't. It's okay. So the telltale sign of this plant is that it's sticky. And I mean sticky, 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 sticky. Do you see this white center? This is like a resin. And I think it's that resin is part of what really does the work to open up the bronchioles and the yep.
Your air sacs.
Your air sacs. It opens up your air sacs. And I think it gets its name curly gumweed. You can, well, A, the leaves have these little ripply curls on it. And then B, do you see these like little horny curly things all over it? So this is a super aromatic plant. It is perfect for coughs. It is perfect for upper respiratory junk. I have had the experience of taking the whole plant, root and all, and putting it in a pot and like making a steam with it. That was so opening, so opening to the airways. It was really hard to process because of how sticky it was. It was like this terrible ordeal. And where's this? Oh my gosh, it was just sticky to the nth degree. Boop, boop, boop. And the way I made this elixir, I'm pretty sure you can see my label. My label is useless. And I tell people all the time, make sure you label stuff because you will forget what you did. You think you will remember forever what you did, and then you don't. I think what I did was I packed a jar full of the Grandelia blossoms and leaves, and I covered it with Everclear because when you are tincturing with fresh plant material, you want to make sure you use like super high concentrate of alcohol so that it doesn't spoil, because the water in the plant adds to the overall water content. You want to keep the alcohol percentage at least 25% when you're tincturing so that it'll last forever and ever and ever. And then after I added the Everclear, I think I let it, I don't know at what point I added the honey. At some point I added honey. I might have added the honey with the Everclear at that point. But eventually, as you can see, I zipped it all in a Vitamix. I just want to present. Okay, present. Boop. Okay, great. Check me out. I can do it. Okay. This was great. This was super potent. It's similar to pleurisy root and the way it relaxes the lungs and opens up airways. Also, when you have something with really high resin content, you want to tincture with high alcohol volume because I was gonna have you guys sample some, but it's nasty, so you're lucky. Your lucky day. But this worked really, really well in a cough syrup too. So I highly recommend you get to know that plant. I have been meaning for years to go. You love me. Thank you.
So the pleurisy root, would you process it the same way as the curly cup?
No, pleurisy root's a totally different animal. So we've talked. Pleurisy root. Is anyone familiar with butterfly milkweed other than Becky, who of course, and of course Finley? Yeah. So butterfly milkweed is Asclepias tuberosa, is pleurisy root. And so what you would do is, again, in the fall, because this is a perennial that will come back year after year after year, in the fall, after the first frost, you go dig it up. I have never processed it before. I don't know what the root looks like, but I would, if I was going to tincture it fresh, I would use probably Everclear. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, because it's that milky sap. I don't know.
Is it like a latex?
Yeah, it's milky, so it has milky sap in it.
Oh, never mind. I would do it exactly the same. And that's so interesting. I'm so glad that you said that. Now, that would make sense, that they're similar constituents. That's super cool. All right. Oh, so gross. And there's plant material in here too, so I don't know how this is going to work. Yes!
Yeah, the grosser the better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe this is a poor choice. Maybe I sent Cornell on a fool's errand, and I'm not actually going to make you do this, but
Yeah.
you can just smell it. That's fine. Yeah, I'll leave this in here. If anyone's like super brave, they can totally taste it. Mm-hmm.
Your little boy was here when you tried all that.
Yeah.
Bitter.
Yes, he was. He thought that was fun.
He took
Doing
them
the
all.
whole mocktail thing.
We totally have to do the mocktail class. We did cocktails. Well, we did mocktails. We didn't do cocktails.
Great mocktail. It was so easy. In Eugene, it was just lemon and basil and honey, and they muddled it and then used club soda.
Okay, let's do that.
I was gonna say.
I want something that actually relaxes me though.
Yeah.
So maybe not.
Like a real, like real.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Alcohol doesn't really relax me.
Well,
so
so for sure, Lobelia would. This absolutely would.
Oh, she
What-
put some in her tea.
Anyway,
That's great.
I'm trying to do.
We had a tea that was relaxing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's lots of herbs that will
Yeah.
relax you. It's a lot. I mean, a lot of them are really bitter and nasty. Is the thing, so like blue vervain and California poppy and
Didn't play with too much. How much tea did you have in there?
Sure, but I got afraid that I wouldn't like it and I would be wasting my $60 or whatever. it was.
$60.
I don't remember.
I have plenty. I will share some with you. You can try as much as you want. I like so lemon balm is anxiolytic. It doesn't. It's like uplifting.
Some of that and I put it just in my water. But
You
it
try
doesn't-
water?
Mhm.
I mean, I do think it helps some things I deal with, but
Yeah.
it's not like
No, it's not. Out of all the herbs that I know, I think lobelia is the one that does that the most profoundly. Sometimes, for some people, black cohosh will do that, but it also can cause headaches if you take too much of it. Okay, moving right along. Next up, I just made this for Gus. He had a sore throat. So this one was just in circulation at our household. It's a very classic recipe. The marshmallow root is very, very demulcent. It's got lots of mucilage in it. The longer you let it steep, the more of that slammy throat coating wonderfulness that you will get. So a lot of times what I wind up doing if I have someone with a sore throat, I'll make a huge batch of this tea and I'll give them the first cup after only 15 minutes of it steeping, knowing full well they're not getting all the benefit. But, we want some relief immediately. So mix in some honey. Honey's going to, coat and soothe that throat too. But then over the course of the day, I've made a huge batch. All those herbs are sitting there throughout the day, longer and longer and longer. It gets more and more potent, and then you set up another batch the night before, knowing that they're probably going to have their sore throat tomorrow too. But that's a really easy way to do it. The linden leaf is absolutely delicious. It might be the most delicious tea on the face of the planet. It is incredible. It's a tree. It has a constituent in it named after linden, and I don't remember exactly how they said it, but it's the only place they've ever found it. This is a quintessential cardiotonic. It's heart medicine. It's a nervine. It's calming without being sleep-inducing. But it too, the longer you steep it, the more thick and viscous it gets, which is going to do that coating and soothing. I add elderflower to this because elderflower is similar to elderberry in that it's going to turn on your immunity and get your white blood cells moving and grooving. And then licorice root is nice because it's sweet. It's going to make this whole thing taste good. It too, like marshmallow root, creates that sticky, slimy, demulcent, coating, soothing wonderfulness. And to boot, it's anti-inflammatory, which when you have angry, red, sore throat tissues, that is the way to go. I love this recipe. I have been using this for a decade or longer with good success. So Gus makes me put mint in it. You can do that. It won't harm it in any way, shape, or form. If anything, mint has some antispasmodic properties, so it would be great. This one, I have to give this one to Jacob. Jacob is my runny nose guy. This is, in part, I was selling a tea for a bit called Drop the Drip. This is kind of the bones of that tea. Goldenrod, I love for drying up like those weepy eyes and that like post nasal drip down the back of the throat. Goldenrod is expert at making that go away. We talked about orange peel earlier. Orange peel thins mucus. And so if you've got just a lot of that copious, goopy, slimy, thick mucus, this is going to help thin it out and help you just get rid of it. Nettle is extremely drying and it has some antihistamine qualities to it. This tea would be perfect for allergy season. This is perfect for your runny, weepy eyes, the postnasal drip. Sage is not very tasty. It's really gross, actually, as a tea, but it's one of the most drying herbs we have. So much so that if you're a breastfeeding mama, you should not take it because it will dry up your breast milk. Which is also, for the mother that has lost a baby or for whatever reason needs to expeditiously dry up her breast milk, it can be a lifesaver. So this tea I would recommend making as an infusion. I would not necessarily decoct this. So what I would do is I would use 1 tablespoon per cup. I'd boil my water, pour it over my tea, and I would let it sit on my counter for as long as possible. This would be the type of thing that, I'd make the night before and then drink throughout the day. I always suggest warming up your teas on the stove, not in the microwave. It can be drank cold and it's going to have the same effect. So if you want to drink it as a summer tea over ice, you can definitely do that. We're rocking through tonight, girls. Okay, this immune decoction, this is what you take when you're starting to get sick. Like that very first moment it hits you and you get that panicky, like, oh God, no, it's happening. I don't want it to happen. And for that reason, I highly recommend, what day is it? It's September 3rd. Tomorrow, September 4th, order these herbs. Have them in your cupboard at all times. Cornell can attest, we have knocked out oncoming things with this. There have been times that we were about to get sick and we managed to shuck and jive and miss it. But does it work 100% of the time? No. Sometimes, when your number's up and you're going to get it. I think echinacea root is the real heavy hitter here. And interestingly enough, echinacea root, I think, as far as boosting your immunity, getting your white blood cells all fired up, it works better as a decoction. And I had learned originally, like 100 years ago, to take it as a tincture. And they would say, well, take like 3 dropperfuls every 2 hours, just nonstop. It works. It certainly works, but it doesn't work as well as the decoction. And you're getting different things in the decoction. And one of the things that you're getting are a bunch of polysaccharides that seem similar to your cells as bacteria. And when you drink a big, huge decoction of it, it's like your body goes, oh my God, you just drank a cup of bacteria, mount the cavalry. And your whole system goes into revs up, turns on. Elderberries do a very similar thing, I think, by a slightly different mechanism. Elderberries are not in and of themselves virucidal. So if anyone's ever like, it's antiviral, well, sure, it is, but elderberry is antiviral because it raises host immunity, not because it's like going around your bloodstream killing viruses. They did do some in vitro and petri dish studies in which elderberry did show virucidal properties, but to get the same effect in your body, you would basically have to turn your blood into elderberry syrup. So it doesn't work like that, but it does work. And you can see our orange peel, aniseed, and licorice root make a repeat here in this. I like the orange peel, again, because it's going to thin mucus. It's a digestive, and so a lot of times when you're not feeling good, your digestion's a little off. Aniseed, same story. It has antitussive properties, it's digestive, and then our licorice root, this gives it some sweetness, so it's not disgusting, and it's anti-inflammatory. It just adds a nice touch. To make a decoction, again, with this, I use 2 tablespoons of herb per cup because this is like this big chunky material. And so you want it to be nice and potent. You could even do it stronger than that. Use 3 tablespoons per cup. Simmer it. Again, this one, I would simmer a huge batch. After 15 minutes, I'd strain and drink my first cup. And then at that point, I might simmer it for another half hour and then just take it off the heat and just let it all sit all together. And I would let it stay sitting and soaking all together. So more and more of those constituents would leach into the decoction. And I would drink that I would try to drink at least a quart the first day, if not 2. Truly. It's one of those things that you just want to hit it. And then continue to drink it until you get relief. And if it doesn't knock out your cold and flu, it's likely to reduce its duration or alleviate, make the symptoms less. And so I would continue to drink that throughout the course of your entire illness. And hopefully it would be lessened for your efforts. Oh, I don't know. Did I put all of the tinctures in here? I didn't use those 2. Did I do the pleurisy root?
Yes.
Okay, thank God. Okay, those are for something else.
I think you emptied those too.
Okay. We didn't taste it though. I brought all these spoons so we could taste it. I don't know the best way to do that though. What if I poured a little in a cup and then, or do you want to just like come up and use a spoon and take some out of there? What was your idea? Tell me again, Kelly.
Take the pipette and put a pipette in everybody's cup.
Oh. You're so smart. I should have listened to you right off the bat. You're a genius. Would it be easier to have you guys come pipette into the cup or even spoon into your
Oh,
cup?
yeah, get some of your bigger spoons. Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
The fun thing about syrups like this is that you can add them to your teas. You don't just have to take them by the spoonful.
Okay.
And truly, something like this, I would be taking this
so
like.
it doesn't drip on the floor.
Sorry, you guys. I'm like all over
No,
the
I know.
place. I want to see what we're working with here. Oh yeah, so that's horrible.
Oh.
It's the horehound. It's so bitter. But so, like, imagine you've got this tea. So imagine you got a kid with a cough and you've made this syrup. You could really easy put it in a cup of like aniseed tea or any other delicious tasting, nourishing, soothing tea. And so you could get the medicine in them without it being a horrific experience.
And I just want to remind people that when you're making these things and steaming them up, put your head over it.
Yes.
Inhale it.
Yes. So now I totally
Use
get
it for
get your
all
head
of
over
them.
here. Yep.
Yeah, like we're gonna inhale it. We're gonna drink it.
Yes.
Yeah, this looks
Okay. For now,
He's
Woo!
yeah, gross.
It doesn't smell terrible. That's why I'm like,
I like.
It's the horehound. That bitter is the horehound.
Yes.
you're good at
That
not
tastes
tasting bitter.
But the drop. But they're a little
Taste
sweeter because
buds.
they're mostly.
I'm gonna set it back up here, huh?
Thank you. Did everyone get a taste? Pretty nasty.
I don't taste it.
Oh.
It tastes mostly like honey.
yeah, I don't think it's bad.
It's the end. It's the bitter aftertaste at the end that it's kind of like, oh,
Now you know it's nice.
that's right.
Yummy.
Well,
I
so
can taste the horehound.
now I will have this in my refrigerator for a month. So if anyone gets a cough, let me know. We will test it out. Here's another. I really, this is a really wonderful recipe. and I'm surprised how often I actually I have given this out recently. You would, most people are like, appetite stimulant, who wants to stimulate your appetite? But you get the kid that's recovered from an illness and just doesn't feel like eating. I have used this a lot with elders. I have used this with unfortunately with teens that have eating disorders, or even older people that have eating disorders, that really want to be well and want to eat and are trying or struggling, but just no longer like to eat. Um, the this
Yeah, we don't know what that's about.
and good for, and truly good for you. Like truly, like that is a seriously, that is one of life's like most profound joys. But the reason this works, there's a lot of things going on with this, but part of the reason this works is that when you start your day with something sweet, when the very, very, very first thing that you break your fast with is carbohydrates and sugar, it stimulates the hunger hormone ghrelin and revs it up. And so for the rest of the day, you've set your metabolism to say, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. If you want the opposite of that, and you start your day exclusive, like the very first meal, with exclusively protein and fiber, lots of like really wonderful dark leafy greens or onions or celery or like whatever. Pick a veggie, all the veggies. What that does is stimulate the satiety hormone leptin, which is then the dominant voice of your day that says, I'm satisfied. I don't need to eat anything till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, in theory. But back to this. Even if you're not trying to stimulate appetite, if you're just trying to heal your gut, this can be a very powerful remedy, because this applesauce is 50% pectin, at least, if not more. And pectin is one of those prebiotic fibers that your healthy gut microbiome feed on. Some of the big ones are pectin, inulin, cellulose. There's more. But so one of the things, like if I'm really trying to heal someone's gut, in addition to these, I will also add powdered burdock root, because burdock root is like 50% inulin. The pectin from the applesauce, you get this like feast for bacteria, feast for gut bacteria. And then when you mix in these powdered marshmallow root, plantain, and calendula, it creates something that's very gut healing. The marshmallow root coats and soothes mucous membranes, is vulnerary, which is a fancy word for wound healing. And both the plantain and the calendula are demulcent, wound healing, vulnerary in their own right. All from slightly different ways. They come about it in slightly different, so they check more boxes, so to speak. But this is a really powerful combo for stimulating your appetite and gut healing. To make the powder, you just powder them all. I like those little coffee grinders work just fine, especially with all of these. These are not, the marshmallow root's a little more difficult, but it can do it. And then you mix all those together and you add about a tablespoon of that powder to warmed applesauce, and then take it 2 to 3 times a day. It's best, you get the most gut healing effect if you take that on an empty stomach, because then it interacts with those membranes the best. But give it a try. It's wonderful. And this is what we're drinking here. Da, 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 da. Actually, but I kept it simple. I did the chamomile, and I did, instead of catnip, I did spearmint, which you can interchange those very easily, and the marshmallow root and the fennel. I left out of our tea the plantain and the calendula, which are a lot more bitter. So if you can imagine this even more bitter, but this is great. This tea works marvelously. The chamomile is extremely anti-inflammatory and antispasmodic. The catnip, or the spearmint, Both of those are carminatives. Like all of the mint family plants, you could have used peppermint, you could use lemon balm, you could use catnip, you can use peppermint, or which one did I not say? Spearmint. I've got spearmint in here. They're very interchangeable. They are all these. They have these volatile oils, these aromatic volatile oils that are calming to your digestion. They bring blood flow to your stomach. They make your peristalsis more effective. They're beautiful. And we're using the marshmallow root to coat and soothe. So if you have a tummy ache, especially you have like reflux or something like that, that marshmallow root is going to cool all that down. And then your fennel is an amazing digestive, promotes, again, healthy peristalsis. Peristalsis is the wave-like contractions of your entire gastrointestinal system that starts with the wave-like motions. When you swallow something, your esophagus will wave, and then it waves on down to your stomach, and your stomach makes this wave-like motion, and then it keeps waving down into your intestines, and the whole thing does this like, it contracts. And it does that with the smooth muscles in those organs. And to make those smooth muscles fire more efficiently, when these carminative herbs shunt more blood into your digestive system, all of that just works better. Sometimes when you go to restaurants, they'll give you these little candy coated fennel seeds. And it's exactly for this reason. After a big meal, you need all your digestive juices flowing and going at max speed in the most efficient way. And fennel is delicious. So this is a great trick to have up your sleeve. This is never going to keep a kid from throwing up. Like if you're sick, you're going to puke and you need to puke. And oh my God, don't stop the puking. Let them puke, right? It's similar with diarrhea. Like if you've got someone with a virus or a bacterial infection causing diarrhea, you do not want to stop that. That's your body trying to flush that out. So unfortunately, you just have to let that run its course. But let's say you're, 2 days past vomiting and your stomach is still nauseous. This would be lovely. You could also throw some ginger into that, and it would be really brilliant too. So that's that one. Moving right along. Oh my gosh, the garlic fix. Oh, I have never done this, but I really want to do it. I need someone to get sick in my household. No, just kidding. I really don't. So my teacher is Paul Bergner, who has been doing this 50 years plus, and he's 76 now. He's absolutely brilliant. He has written several books and taught hundreds, if not thousands, of people. This is one of his like quintessential go-to recipes, and one of the things that he really drives home to all of us is that foot soaks sometimes are the way to go, because it's a very effective way of getting the constituents of herbs into your body without having to drink nasty things or drink large quantities of things. And I think, has everyone heard about how wonderfully antimicrobial and to help you get over colds and flus? Garlic is like amazing. It's the closest thing to a systemic antibiotic herb that we have. It is really hard on your stomach to eat it raw, and it has to be eaten raw to get that effect, because allicin is the constituent. It's destroyed by cooking. So you have to macerate it. You actually have to chew it and eat it to get this effect, which is unfortunate, and it doesn't taste really good. And I used to get around it back when I ate wheat, because I would mince it and mix it with butter and mix it with honey, and then I would put it on toast. And that was palatable, and it didn't make me sick, and it didn't hurt my stomach, and I could get it, a couple cloves down, which is really great for helping to fight off a cold or a flu. So I don't do that now. And I've been like, what the heck? How the heck am I going to eat raw garlic? How am I going to get my kids to eat raw garlic? This. So you take 3 cloves of garlic and blend it like in your blender with a quart of water. And then you make a foot bath to it. And you sit there. I said, this is something we have to, I've not done this yet. I need to do this. But he was taught, because I'm working with someone who has cellulitis, and I was thinking about ways that maybe we could combat that without actually having to eat the garlic. So the other thing, he says that if you are making a foot soak for like a cold and flu situation, that you're going to want to dilute it. That undiluted is too much. Just your quart with the 3 cloves is very strong. However, if you have some sort of foot fungus or foot infection, it'll knock it out without, don't dilute it. Then at that point, you just do the quart of water and the 3 cloves and zip it, and then soak your feet in it. Apparently, I have it on good authority that if you sit there with your feet in this garlic water, that your breath will start to smell like garlic, which shows you how systemic, like how much is being absorbed through your skin. So maybe that's next class too. Maybe we'll be foot soaking and smelling each other's breath.
See, that would be great because it's Halloween vampires. You know,
Oh, we are so doing this.
So what's your take on fermented garlic? Because we ferment garlic.
Tell me, I don't have a take on fermented garlic.
I'm just wondering if it's as potent, but that's what I give my kids, and my kids will eat it fermented much better because it's like pickled.
Oh, okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah.
But it's just, we just put salt and water in, let it sit on the counter for 48 hours, and then I just keep it in the fridge. And they'll just eat them. Like, it's much easier than eating a raw one.
That's I don't know. So, okay. I would be curious to know if that particular constituent is destroyed in that process or if it's still active.
Yeah.
Because that sounds great.
Yeah. I'll have to ask there's a GAPS lady in the Panhandle, but I got that from, so I'll have to ask her.
That's so cool.
Yep.
I did GAPS with when my son was first diagnosed with autism. We went down that hole.
Yep.
That was yep. GAPS is a lot. This is the Sinus Saver rinse. This is a gold standard recipe to have in your back pocket. I haven't had that's really blurry. I haven't had a sinus infection. I mean, I think I've had one in my whole life, and yeah, it's not that blurry. Is that blurry? No. Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry, team. It was fine. I'm messing with it unnecessarily. I've never had to do this, but I have seen that. I've suggested this to people and haven't been very effective for them. It is gross. You need one of these little bottles, which you can buy at Walmart. You need these 2 tinctures. You need Hydrastis is golden seal. I don't know why I used the Latin there. Sorry. And there's myrrh. And you really just want 15 drops. You want to follow this recipe exactly. You don't want more. You don't want any more. That's all you want. And you need to make sure that you don't skimp on the glycerin. It is pretty potent. But so the interesting thing about sinus infections is that rarely are they just a bacterial infection. A lot of times, especially for the people who have reoccurring sinus infections, it's fungus and bacteria that have set up shop together. So what happens is people go to the doctor and they get put on an antibiotic, which kills the bacterial component, but it doesn't tackle the fungal component. This tackles both. I don't know what happened to my little graphic. It's so sad. It's so sad. Oh wait. Hey, check it out there. It's a video. Not exciting. Are you guys all thrilled? Yeah. Wait, let's do it again. One more time. Oh, I screwed it up. Never mind. There. She's squirting it. My friend Anne, I have a really good dear friend who now swears by this. So yeah, I tried to make myrrh. So myrrh, I tried to make a myrrh tincture once, and I had to wind up buying it for whatever reason. So myrrh is an oleogum resin, which means it has The gum part, it is only soluble in water, and then the oleo and the resin components are soluble in both alcohol and in oil. So in theory, you should be able to make, with really high proof alcohol, you should be able to make a pretty super wamidine tincture of myrrh. Well, I made one. I did all the right things, but no matter what, no matter what, no matter how many times I tried to make this tincture, whenever I would like, because I was trying to use it on like in the gums, and I was trying to, but it was like it immediately separated out of the alcohol. So I don't know what I did wrong. This Herb Farm one does not do that. So good for Herb Farm. Maybe try them. Gaia makes tinctures. They're good. Oh, who's that? Herbalist and alchemist. What's that guy's name? David Winston. He makes tinctures. I recommend those. So yeah, that's it. This is a good one. If anyone in your family gets reoccurring sinus infections and they're tired of taking antibiotics, give it a try. And this is our last recipe of the evening. And I was going to change. So cold sores are awful. No one likes to get them. A couple of things that I have learned recently. One is that L-lysine, when you start to feel a cold sore coming on, taking L-lysine, amino acid, and actually putting it on the cold sore, they make lip balms that have L-lysine in it. Should, in theory, I've not tried it yet, but should, in theory, shorten the lifespan, if not like knock out the cold sore. The reason, according to Paul Bergner, is because, and I don't remember what the other amino acid is, but there's another amino acid plentiful in your body that the herpes virus needs to replicate, but the L-lysine will block it for whatever reason.
I used to use it in the hayfield, and it would take them away. Like the next day, they dry up. He had pills and a cream.
That is so
That
interesting.
dried them up by the time we went to bed.
So I was looking because I really wanted to see if I could add L-lysine to a salve, and I could only find it in a glycerin. Like I could find a liquid extract that was in like a glycerin, which is water soluble, and so you don't want to get water anywhere near your salves.
I had a hard time finding that ointment. It used to come in like a little Blistex type tube. But now that he's not in the sun every day, he doesn't get them.
That's cool. The other herb that I don't have in here that would be really beneficial is licorice root. And licorice root, there's something about it that they are finding is anti-herpes. Of course, we were talking about it being anti-inflammatory before. So what I have done when I've felt them coming on is soak like a little cotton ball in licorice root tea. I don't know that it necessarily was super beneficial, but it's good to try. These herbs all over here, with the exception of frankincense, the thyme, the oregano, the bee balm, and the lemon balm, all have a variety of constituents in them that have been shown to have anti-herpes effect. A lot of people in the herbal world will tout lemon balm as like the anti-herpes herb. Actually, it has less anti-herpes constituents in it than some of these other ones. It was championed by the German pharmacopoeia, German, whatever. There was a bunch of German manufacturers in the 1980s, maybe it was even before that. I'm not sure the history of it, but they were the ones that sort of like picked up lemon balm and was like, this is the herb. And it's certainly delicious. And as we talked or mentioned earlier, it has some anti-anxiety properties to it. And certainly when you're starting to get a cold sore, you feel some anxiety. So plus it tastes a lot better than some of these others. So if you're going to do a salve for your cold sore, it's a nice base. And we've talked before about making infused oils. We could go back over that now, but I'm going to skip it. Maybe we can do it another class. But essentially, you soak it, very similar to the way you make a tea, but you do it with oil. And you can do it, you can warm it slowly with a double boiler, which speeds up the process and gets more constituents. I also really like bee balm for cold sores. Bee balm is Monarda fistulosa. It grows here wild down by the river. It's got these big purple, fuzzy Fraggle Rock looking flowers, and it kind of, I'm not sure if it's in the mint family, but it kind of looks like, is it in the mint family?
Yes.
Excellent. Square stem and all.
And clearly. Yeah, now you say that. Yeah, it does have the square stuff.
Right on. Thank goodness. Thank you. It kind of tastes, the leaves kind of taste more like oregano than a mint. It's very spicy. I love it. It has quite a few different anti-herpes constituents. The thyme and the oregano are powerhouses. Peppermint actually is a powerhouse too. And I was going to change one of these, pick one, either the oregano or the thyme. I was going to change one of those to peppermint because it has very similar anti-herpes properties and tastes a whole heck of a lot better. The frankincense I threw in there because it's anti-inflammatory and wound healing, and just, I don't know, I'm pretty much obsessed with frankincense. The general process to make a salve is once you have the infused oil, you use a double boiler. You use 1 cup of infused oil and 1 ounce of beeswax. You melt that all together. You take it off your heat. You add in your essential oils. You mix, 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 and then pour into your tins. It is not hard. It is you should not feel intimidated by it. It's kind of a pain in the butt to buy all the stuff and to keep the accoutrements around, but I have all that stuff and I have all the herbs. And so if there's ever at any point that you guys would like to make any of these recipes, chances are I have all the gear and all the stuff. So do not be afraid to give me a call and be like, I've got a sick kid. What do you have? I have all of the things. I will never forget the very first herb book. I was really excited about it. It was Aviva Rom's babies and children, herbs for babies and children or whatever. And I, young mom, and I was like, I'm going to treat my kids with herbs. And I bought that book and I started reading it. And I was so overwhelmed and so intimidated by all of the stuff you needed to have on hand. And because when these things strike, it's not like you have time to order from Amazon or drive to Omaha to go to. Is there even an herb store in Omaha? There's some in Denver. Drive to Denver. So.
Yeah, fly to Eugene, Mountain Road.
Yeah. I book a flight. My kid's got the flu. But I have a bunch. So don't be afraid to play and explore and experiment. I hope this class has given you some ideas. That's really, see, I kept it in an hour. You guys should be so proud of me. Thank you. Does anyone have any requests for next month?
We are having troubles with ringworm.
Really?
Ringworm salve, like all summer.
Huh. Okay, so
Addie's still has some.
my first guess would be maybe sorry, my first guess got beat out by like 8 other things that jumped into my head. So a berberine herb, which golden seal is a berberine herb, is one of the most potent berberine herbs. Berberine is a incredible antimicrobial. I don't know how much it would kill parasites, but I bet. The one that everybody talks about to knock out parasites is black walnut. And I would maybe just start with black walnut, and I'll look and see at my shop if I have black walnut tincture, because if I do, it seems like that would be the way to go. I would imagine that you'd want something drying.
I was wondering about the garlic. Like,
Yep. Yep.
Garlic in her face.
Yep.
Yeah.
Addie's like, oh my god.
Yep. You could even kind of make a little poultice with it.
Because babies have spots and they're there for 3 months.
That's no fun.
I'm the first one who had
It the wrestler. Shocking.
Yeah, they went to grandma's and to kitties. And
I was gonna say, The cats, the kitty cats.
And then cousin high school wrestled.
Mm-hmm. It's a gift that keeps on giving.
It is. Yeah, you think you get it all.
No. I had a massage client come in. It was an older gentleman, and he had it all over his back. And he, I don't know. I don't know. If I don't know. It was very unsettling. I was like, I cannot massage you. I am so sorry. You are going to have to put your clothes on.
Yeah, like a hairdresser on a slice.
Oh. That's so not fun.
Yeah.
Well, oh,
To the pharmacy.
so you guys, if anyone thinks of anything over the next couple weeks that you want to know about, or no, the next week, I'll have to pick a topic. But we will meet back a month, October 1st. Garlic foot soaks and seriously.
It's my birthday on the 2nd.
Oh! We can have an herbal birthday for Crystal.